Hello, everybody, and welcome to From the Depths Boat Building Basics. My name is Colin, and I'm here to tell you everything you need about building a hull and filling in your ship. Now, I have about 650 hours in this game, so I kind of consider myself to be a bit of an expert, and I'm going to teach y'all exactly how you can make both a hull and the inside components of a ship. Now, this first episode will mainly be talking about how to build the external segments of the hull. So this is going to be purely what makes up the outside of the ship. We will not be doing any of the interior things. We will purely just be talking about how to build the hull. So if you want to look at the second episode, which goes more into the inside of the ship, the components that you need to run the ship, and those kinds of things, feel free to go ahead and watch that instead. This episode is more just hull designing, and it's not really centered around the inside of ships. Now, do keep in mind that if you are just starting out in From the Depths and you want a basic boat tutorial, I would really recommend starting with one of the prefab ship hulls and skipping this episode into the second episode to talk more about how to fill in a ship and what to put inside of a ship. So do keep that in mind, and let's just get right into it. So what I really like to do is I like to have a set kind of downward shape or a vertical shape of the ship first before anything else. But we're going to have to see how that goes. So we're going to start by making a very simple front of our boat here. It's important to make sure that you don't have to have connection rules on to begin with, purely because we are going to be basically just making the skeleton of the ship. Alright. So we don't really have to have it connect right away. Though it's probably nice to get rid of the little pink thing. Now, personally, I like to make the bow of the ship roughly 2/3 of the length of the ship. So this actually does seem about right. Or I guess I'd say that's more of a quarter, so maybe we'll do one more. But we'll do this one a little bit farther back, just to have a little bit of extra armor width, you could say. Now the back is going to be a little bit trickier, and we'll sort that out when we get there. But let's see here. Alright, so for this ship, we're going to actually try and make it a bit of a wide one, purely because I kind of like the idea of that at the moment. But of course, it does really just depend on what kind of ship you'd like to make, all that kind of thing. This is probably going to severely make our ship a lot slower, I'd say. So we'll have to see how that goes, but I'm sure it'll be alright. Alright, so now we're going to start just kind of going straight back here. Now, I really like to have, oh, and this is going to be quite a blocky ship, so I'll have to keep that in mind here. But personally, I really like to kind of have a distance between my my going out, I guess, purely because otherwise it looks like a flat brick, and that's not really aesthetic, as I'm sure you can kind of understand. Now you can go and just put this in your little toolbar down here, but I'm a little bit of a stubborn man, and I don't really think that I need it. When of course I definitely do, so maybe that is a little helpful. Now, do keep in mind, when it's like this kind of curved area, you're not going to be able to have as much armor or as much flat space, if you could say. So it's important to make sure that you know what you need for your ship, which of course I can try and help you with here. Now that we've gotten to our little sticky yaddy bit, we're going to make this straight flat. Alright, yeah, that's looking pretty okay. Now, do keep in mind, this is probably going to be one of your first builds, so do not expect it to be something like super amazing. It will probably be pretty rough, and that's okay. It does not have to be something that's like crazy amazing, some super futuristic techno thing. It's just got to be something that you can use and you can like practicality and a pride of ownership, I'd say. So now, what I like to do is I just go a straight extra level, extra layer of armor, you could say. So just all along this ship. I guess I'll make it a 3 block. Now that we have done our little extra armor line here, let's start working on this little bit of a bottom. Now, you most likely will end up not using the same little outline that you did. As you probably saw, I simply just kind of gave up on it, and I'm gonna kind of just go with the flow here, but it's not always something that you'd have to have super strict adherence to. So let's see here. Now, something I'm gonna do for this little bit is, because since we're trying to go back a little bit, I am going to have it just kind of peel off like that, because it's always going to be a little 1 block here, so keep that in mind. That it does not entirely matter. Actually, we're probably going to do the same thing here. We're going to probably try and level it out there almost. So with that in mind, we're going to just 1 more block here. And then perfect. So that's a pretty interesting little hull shape there. I kind of like it. It's I don't know, it's interesting. So let's keep going here. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and just start filling in the rest of this area. Just making sure that we don't miss any spots, and begin our kind of movement backwards. So to do that, we're going to do 2 width blocks, because hopefully we can end up shaping it backwards slightly. Oh, actually no, we need to do it 1 more block back. One more block down. Now, unlike most normal boats, like actual ships in real life, you do kind of want a flat bottom here, purely because we are going to be putting a lot of propellers on the bottom. So we'll be using those propellers to keep the ship at a certain height, like comparative to waves or something. So if you hit a storm or something like that, you don't have to worry about your boat kind of going all over the place. Well, so we'll have to kind of make sure that we're aware of that. Oh, you know what? I could have done the 4th. So we're gonna change that up. Do 4 block instead. Now a lot of this is most likely going to be exactly the same. Okay, so no, never mind. I was wrong about that. I was hoping I could put it down like 1 more block, but no, looks like not. That's okay. Happy little accident. Okay, let's start just going straight back. And sometimes you'll probably get off in your measurement, but that's okay because the front of it and the back of it are always very tricky. So you just kind of have to be aware of that sometimes. That they're going to be a different shape, they're going to be a different length. It's really how you want your boat to look. And then the math goes in with it. So this is actually probably going to end up being a much longer ship than I was trying to make, but that's because I just have big mindsets, and that's okay too. It's always up to the builder as to what they want to do. Always remember that. You can do whatever you'd like in this game, and nobody's here to judge. So now, just to be extra easy, we're just going to look straight down, press F, and it'll essentially fill the entire area, which is very nice, very helpful. And there, we have completed the front of our boat. Isn't that awesome? And you know what? I think it looks very not bad. Could be so. Now, usually what you can do is you can get a pivot point, which is something that's very advanced, and we won't do for this, purely because I also like the look of the blocky, kind of Minecraft-y vibes. But you can essentially get a really long bar that's a fake decoration, and you can have it set to be like at an angle that it smooths this all out. And you'll see that in certain like workshop builds or something like that, where these experts, I'd say, they go and just go ham and just kind of like they'll make everything nice and smooth. But that's not what we're here to do. We're here to be practical, and so that is what we will be. Now, I'm going to go ahead and remove this deck, and I probably will not put a deck in until we start actually filling in the compartments, just so it's a little bit easier to see. But you do not have to do that. If you want to be kind of hectic with your building, you can always just have a roof, and that's okay too. So this is definitely going to be a little bit of a longer ship. So here we can practice our block management, or our prefab placing. So here we're going to press E, and we're going to go to prefab mode, and it'll probably load up anything else you used to click before. But we're going to use this to copy and paste our ship over into like extra spaces, if that makes sense. It's essentially you're capturing this little hull area, and you're gonna use that hull area to just extend the length of the boat. Now, it's important to make sure that it lines up with your blocks here. Yeah, so we want it right here. Prefab mode. Gonna have to make it just a little bit longer. And then we're gonna capture it. There we go. So now we've got this nice little extension of our ship. And sometimes it'll make like a little funky extension that's like a little sticky out bit, but that's okay. It's just because our boat wasn't entirely aligned, and we'll just have to fill in those little spots later. So I feel like that's probably enough, and we can start working on our end. Probably because it's going to be a bit of a long one. So I was wrong, and we are actually going to want to extend this probably at least one more time. So let's go ahead and start doing that again. Yeah, we already have our little saved thingamajig here. We're gonna go one more. I think one more is probably pretty good. I think that's about the end of our limit there as far as length before we start working on the hull. I actually was working on this a little bit, and I had tried to make the back just as it was right there, and it did not work out very well. So we're gonna forget that ever happened. Of course, it didn't happen for y'all, but because I'm sneaky like that. But I'm going to forget about that at least, and we're going to go ahead and finish this up like this. So trying to do something very similar to the front of this boat, except definitely shorter. We're going to have this bit right here just kind of end off and continue as a little bit of a kind of precursor to our ending, if that makes sense. Oh, okay. Sorry, past me outsmarted current me somehow. So, taking that into account here, we're going to remove this area, just like this. We're going to stick it back like this. Same thing here. Oh, crap. I'm sorry, what? Okay, please excuse me. I was a fool for a second. I think I've got it down now. Alright. There we go. So that is the beginning of the end. And once I give us one more block here, we are going to start kind of closing in this back. So to do that, we're gonna go like this. And we're going to make a little kind of area for our propellers to go. Just like this. Now, it's going to end kind of abruptly for this small little section right here, because we want our propellers to have a little space to kind of be formed right there. Right, so now, what we're going to do, what I like to call the gradually smaller thingamajig. And we're going to turn this into a very short little round, kind of bulbous almost, little end to our journey here. We're actually going to go a little bit more drastic. Yeah, that's a bit better. Okay. Now let's get rid of the pink bit. Right here at least. Okay, now we are going to try our best to fill this in, which is going to be kind of interesting. So, since we have it set to be 1 block shorter than our 4 block slope here, we have to turn this 4 block thing into a 3 block thing so that it does not mess with our back area here. I don't know what I was thinking there. Ah. There we go. That's pretty nice, yeah. So, to do that, we have to use a transition block. Now, transition blocks can be kind of interesting. They really kind of work well and kind of don't work well. If you've played any other boat building games, I'm not really sure if I could name too many, but like Stormworks, for example, they have a little bit of a better time transitioning blocks, but that is okay. Actually, we can use our transition blocks here if we wanted. Huh. Maybe. We'll see about that. I kind of like our little blocky front, so I think we're going to keep a blocky back too. So, we are going to use a slope transition. So we want to go from a 3 meter block, or a 4 meter block to a 3 meter block. And we're going to use the right side one because we're on the left side, so whatever. And then explain that how you want. And now we are actually converted from the 4 block to the 3 block. And I think that honestly looks pretty cool too. See, ends are never always kind of problematic for me. If we can just somehow get to this point. See, I really wish what this game had was a transitions that were the length of the block. Like you would have a 4x4 transition here, or something like that. But it just kind of ends up being a little bit tricky building these kind of smoothish surfaces sometimes. So let's see here. Let's see what we can do. Oh, I forgot that we're at 3. There you go. Okay, that does not look the worst. So we're gonna keep doing that. There we go. That was not bad at all. That could have been so much worse. Except it kind of doesn't work out there. So what we're going to do instead is we're just going to go flat. Just like that. And voila, we now have a semi-okay-ish back. Oh. Oh, that's my phone. Here, 1 second. It's important that you make sure that there's an ending to your area that you want to fill. So for that example there, I didn't have a opening at the bottom there, or I had an opening at the bottom there, so it would have just kind of filled out into the world forever, which would have killed my computer. So that's why it gave us the little warning sign there. Alright, so all in all, not the worst experience ever. I hope that that was a little bit communicative, I'd say. But, I mean, I tried my best there. So, we have a working bottom of the boat. Alright, y'all. And with that, I'm going to end this first episode. I hope that y'all enjoyed learning how to make this hull right here. In our next episode, we're going to be talking about how to put the inside of our ship together as far as resources, weaponry, AI systems, just anything along those lines. Essentially just how to make your boat a working boat. As always, I hope that y'all enjoyed, and please be sure to like and subscribe and give any comments as to what you'd like to see in the future.